Welcome back, friends. So I decided to grab some scraps that I had in my shop and try something I had never done before. I'm going to get these all glued up. I don't know how it's going to turn because different species turn differently, but you know, how bad could it be? Little technical difficulty with the glue here. Turns out glue gets hard when you don't use it very often. Who knew? We'll carry on and see if we can get these to stay together. Good morning. Well, today we've got a nice piece of Osage Orange, Walnut, and Birch. I've obviously taken the corners off already. It's measuring about 4.5 inches high by about 8 inches across, and we'll see if we can make something nice. Stay tuned. So the first thing we need to do is get this piece secured to the lathe. We're going to use a faceplate and make sure it stays on the lathe. I'm going to start by taking this outside corner and start getting us into round so I can ultimately turn the speed up a little bit and make my cuts a lot easier. Flattening the bottom just a bit for the same purpose. So this is my very first glue up that I've ever done. Again, I'm rather new to wood turning, everyone, and it was neat to, as I smoothed this out, to see how the three species of wood were laying together. It was really kind of cool. Maybe not new for you guys, but new for me. I'm going to start establishing my tenon and foot so I can get this turned around and put in the chuck the other direction. To really make sure that you've got a clean tenon or a clean recess or mortise for the chuck to hold on to. Don't skimp on that detail. I'm going to start working on my shape now, and I'm kind of deciding that I'd like to have a little bit more of a wider opening, but have it go a little bit more narrow toward the bottom. There are a couple decent cracks I'm noticing in here that I will have to address later, but hopefully they don't become an issue. Again, just a little bit more scooping out so I can kind of get closer to that shape that I have in my mind. I'm going to try a little CA glue on the outside here and see if we can fill those cracks. I don't get the feeling they're going really deep, but they are rough enough to where I definitely wanted to smooth them out. I'm going to use a negative rake scraper to kind of clean up, get rid of that CA glue, and hopefully some of the tool marks. Do a little sanding. I always go to about 400 grit, and then my kind of standby fine steel wool, medium Scotch pad, and fine Scotch pad. Gives me a really nice smooth surface, and I do this before I do any sanding paste or anything like that. Really loving the grain, especially on that Osage Orange. It's really pretty. I'm going to use a little bit of isopropyl alcohol to clean the grain, make sure I've got no dust or anything like that. It also gets the grain fibers to stand up, and get it ready for the sanding paste. Also gives us a nice first look at what this will look like when it's finished. We're going to turn this around and get that faceplate off and get it in the chuck and start working on the other end. Flattening the top just a little bit here again so I can increase my speed, and then start working on my hollowing. This is my first time turning Osage Orange as well as the other two species. So I've turned those before, but not Osage Orange. And I was told that it was hard as a rock, and it is rather hard, dense wood, and it was going to be very difficult to turn. I did not find that. I just took it easy, make sure my gouge was sharp, and it turned very, very easily, to be honest. I tend to like setting the thickness of my sidewalls before I eliminate the bulk in the center, because it helps those sidewalls to not flex, because once they get thin they start flexing with the RPMs of the lathe. I'm going to set my depth now, see how far down I can go with my very high-tech depth finder tool. And we're going to use a skew just to kind of smooth out some of the lines and also hit those edges just a little bit. I tend to not like the real sharp edges. I just don't think it's pleasant to hold on to when you pick a piece up. I ran some black CA in the middle, or excuse me, on the inside, and because it already had some really deep, dark lines in there anyway, and I thought I'll secure those cracks with the black CA, and actually glad I used that because it came out really pretty. You'll see toward the end. Negative rake scraper to just kind of smooth things out and get rid of the last of any of that CA glue. And we'll start sanding process again from about 120 up to 400, and then I'll use my Scotch pad and steel wool. Gonna go ahead and use some sanding paste. This is the Brad's sanding paste, by the way. I like this product a lot. Brings out the color, but also gets us up to about 1,000 grit. surface when you're done. Put it on and wipe it off. When you see nothing on your paper towel, you know that you've gotten it all off. Pretty simple. We're going to turn this around now and get rid of that tenon and finish up the bottom of this piece. Again, I will almost always leave the little nub in the middle because I'm just going to take it to the drill press and drill out that nub at the exact size for my branding token that I had made. So I've done that, and a little more CA glue. Again, I just grab the black and the branding token goes on. I'm going to use some of the Brad's tongue oil on this to finish it. Again, really like this product. It's very reasonable as far as price, and a little goes a long way. Leave it on for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then just wipe off your excess. And you obviously can do multiple coats if you like. Folks, I really appreciate everybody watching, spending your time. The finished photos are coming up. Check out my Etsy store. It's in the description and on the channel. And some of the pieces that I've made in the past and will be making will be for sale. And consider subscribing if you would. And again, I really appreciate all the support. Have a great day, and thank you again for watching.